Hey, good morning, everyone. Again, you probably saw our media release or our message that went out. Basically, flow front remains active, but very sluggish. It advanced about 20 yards yesterday late afternoon. I think we were up in the air yesterday between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. From then till this morning at about 6:40, the flow had advanced about 20 yards. It's very narrow, maybe 25, 30 yards wide at the leading edge. And when I say active, it just has some burning around the complete perimeter of that advancing front. It's moving very quickly at all. And we still see breakout activity upslope. Just back from the flow front, currently maybe about 300-400 yards back, there's a breakout on the south side, which we have reported before. That was also very sluggish, hadn't moved very much, but still active, still burning on the edges. On the north side, the north margin of the flow pad, we still see those two breakouts, 1.5 miles upslope from the flow front, and those also remain active. And then about 2.5 miles up near the area of the well pad, again on the north side, that breakout was also active, but less active than what we saw yesterday. Many surface breakouts, small ribbons or flows of lava on the pad itself. We did not make it up to the vent this morning, but yesterday afternoon's flight, we did make it up to the vent, and there remained a active breakout near about 1.5 miles below the vent on the north side as well. So activity overall, it's still active, but sluggish. And again, advancement about 20 yards since yesterday afternoon. Still puts us at the 0.6 mile, roughly, distance to the highway, and about 680 yards from the marketplace boundary. Apologies, we're on the road right now. I'm actually headed out to Pua to meet with the merchants. We've been maintaining close communications with the merchants that are there, and letting them know the status of the flow. And that's what I'm doing this morning, heading out just to ensure that they're aware of what's happening. Again, no imminent threat. As far as any fire activity, it's still pretty wet out there, even though we've had a few dry days. Yesterday morning it was raining very lightly, so it's still very wet, no fire threat. Smoke conditions were, light to moderate this morning. And because of the variable winds which are in place right now, we're seeing the combination of the smoke and the fog from the summit areas in the early morning hours kind of sitting right over the Pohoa through Keala, Hilo area, and down through the other parts of Lower Puna. But by mid-morning it breaks with the heating up of the landmass, and we have a little bit of change in the wind flow and air currents, so the lake conditions at this time. With that, I'll take any questions if you have any for me.
Hi, Chief. It's Paula Akana from KITV. We've noticed I know there was a fire break that was established earlier. Has the flow passed through over that?
Yes, the flow actually crossed that fire break that runs in a north-south direction, so it's parallel to the highway. The fire break is approximately 700 yards from the back of the marketplace, and that's where it did cross the fire break and 20 yards from the fire break on the opposite side, so it hasn't moved very far, and that's the distance right now, about 680 yards from the marketplace.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Chief, if you're driving out to Pahoa, how's the traffic?
It's flowing very well. No traffic whatsoever. Again, it's not a school day, so traffic's pretty light right now and flowing real well.
Thanks.
This is Jim Cedar with NBC News. Hey, what was the purpose of the fire break?
Back in September, with some of the flow activity, it triggered a brush fire. We had drier conditions then than we do now. So at the time of that brush fire, which we had about 1,000 acres involved, a fire break was cut to keep the fire contained. The fire break remains in place, obviously, and basically with the weather conditions, we haven't any brush fire threat since that fire back in September. So that was the basis for the fire break.
Okay. And also, it's been a little while since I've been there, but the last couple times that I was there covering that story for NBC News, it was very, very difficult for the media to actually get access to any kind of visuals. Is that, as you look forward, if this thing continues to flow, if it indeed reaches the marketplace and crosses the highway, is that still going to be the case, or is there going to come a time where, the national media, can actually get thoughts of this thing, what's going up in the air?
Sure. As we've been sharing with the public, we'd like to provide everybody with access to the advancing or what activity when it becomes an area that's safe to do so. And as we've shared with the community, if the flow was to continue on its path and approach or enter the Malama Marketplace or the Pahoa Marketplace complex, as well as the effects on the highway, that might be the first opportunity where we could allow for and manage safe public access of viewing, and that would be for the community as well as for the media.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Tom with the Tribune Herald. I guess anyone can answer this question. I was just curious to know if that that south branch of the used to be the south branch of the flow front, is that still active?
Yeah, Tom, this is Darrell. That south breakout is still active, but as I mentioned, it hasn't advanced very much at all. When it described being active, we're still seeing, surface activity. We're still seeing, obviously, breaks in the lava crust where it's obvious there's red molten material below and burning along the edges, but no significant advancement that we could see on that particular breakout on the south side.
And Mike, Tom here at the Tribune Herald. What can we expect in the near future? I know it's always difficult to predict these type of things, but is the flow basically an adjustment period in terms of where it might focus its activity, or would you expect the flow front to gain strength again?
Hey, Tom. Well, yeah, you're right. It's pretty difficult to say, as always. But we're seeing breakout activity in a number of places on the flow field. There's a breakout that's close to the flow, one in the vicinity of the crack system, and then the bulk of the activity is in that lower, say, 3 kilometers of the flow field. And right now it seems to be broadening and inflating that area. So we're kind of in a wait-and-see mode to see if the breakouts upslope will begin to capture more of the overall flow, or if after a period of inflation and widening, that current lobe that is sort of pointed at the marketplace will begin to advance again. It seems to be sort of fitting with the pattern of the previous lobe, where it shot out sort of this narrow finger and sort of got to a point where it overextended itself and then had to inflate and broaden a bit. And in that case, it was eventually abandoned. It's not clear whether this particular finger will also be abandoned. As long as it's inflating and broadening, it's certainly still active and could start pushing forward.
Okay, thank you.